Yeah, I had a question.
Okay.
So I've got 6 friends who are all atheists.
Well, check out Mr. Popular over here with his 6 friends. That's like 6 more than I ever had. What a goddamn show-off. And, you know, they're hanging around heathens, and God hates that. But to be fair, I actually believe this person when they say they have atheist friends, which is unusual, because otherwise the next part would be, well, really weird and awkward if they aren't your friends. Well, it's weird and awkward if they are as well, but, you know, let's just get on, shall we?
They're all they're my closest friends. They're pretty militant atheists, and
they're all like pretty your closest friends. There was some odd hesitation there, but again, I believe him. Well, I believe he believes it. And you know what? Friendships aren't always two-way streets. You could hang out with a group of people that are all the best friends that you have ever had. And they could all be hanging out with that one weird guy who sat down at the lunch table one day and proceeded to hang about for the rest of their lives. Come on, every group has one. And if you're thinking, well, my friend group hasn't, well, I have some bad news for you. It's definitely you.
they have been for a few years. They think Christianity is dumb. They think it's not logical. And
they make some compelling points there, bucko, and I do find it odd that they are so directly rude about your deeply held philosophical beliefs, whilst being such good friends, apparently. Because I have crimsbian friends, and you know what I don't do? Tell them that they're fucking idiots to their face. I do it behind their back like a real, true friend.
I think part of that's because of the colleges they went to and what they've been exposed to.
They didn't go to stump jumping, Bible thumping, backwater idiot university to get a real education about how real God is. They went to some proper universities to get actual educations where they barely brought up God at all. And get this right, didn't even acknowledge the factual nature of the Bible and how it gets everything right. In fact, apparently, even some of this so-called science stands in contradiction to the Bible. I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Etc. And I'm trying to see the best approach I can take to start witnessing to them and evangelizing to them.
Oh, don't worry, mate. I actually got you covered on that point. Fucking don't. If they're actually your friends, and this is not some weirdy-beardy parasocial relationship where you are effectively a seventh wheel, then don't. You are only going to piss them off. Now, if they show interest in your faith and maybe want to do some spiritual shit, then maybe you could be open to that. I mean, everything you believe is like wrong, but it's whatever. Just don't come guns blazing at them with this shit. I promise you, you are unlikely to get the result you want and much, much more likely to have a friendectomy.
I'm newer to apologetics, and I love it so far.
Oh, good.
I've got your books, Frank Turek's, Lee Strobel, J. Warner Wallace.
Well, I don't know who this guy is, and I don't know who Stroganoff is, but Frank Turek, well, yeah, if the other two are even remotely as bad as old mate Frank, you ain't converting nobody never. Because his arguments are some of the stupidest shit I ever heard. And apparently he's one of the better ones. So let that just kind of speak for itself as a concept. It's like, imagine you're told the most knowledgeable person in the world on quantum mechanics is about to give a talk and out fucking walks Lloyd Christmas onto the stage. You'd be like, oh damn.
Pretty much all the big names, which are all awesome individuals, and I love their books so far. I'm just trying to determine what's the best approach.
I mean, if we go back to your opening statement, you called them all militant atheists. 6 people plus random crimsbian guy doesn't really add up to me. I mean, I am literally the world's most important and loved atheist shit talker, and seriously can't think of a militant atheist I've ever spoken to. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but that you would have a bunch of them that just happen to be in the same friend group along with you? It doesn't really make sense. But what does is that you think they're militant because you have a terrible habit of bringing up religion at the dinner table, so to speak. And there's a reason that that's considered bad form. People are there to eat, and they ain't leaving till they're finished, or they're forced to leave without finishing. And if you're in any situation that's even like that, what reactions do you think this guy is going to cause? Not friendly ones, for damn sure. But just because they shut you down right quick does not mean they're militant, just that they are probably sick of your shit. So more of that? Well, I wouldn't imagine it's going to be ideal.
Well, that's
Should I wait until I have pretty much every single argument down really well,
The problem with that is, whether you have them perfectly memorized or just have the basic model lined up, if they're even remotely cognizant of those arguments, they are likely to have rebuttals good and ready to go. And if they don't, well, all they have to do is go away, have a quick look on the interwebs, and will likely find dozens, if not hundreds of takedowns of anything that you're likely to bring to the table.
And should I do it one friend at a time, one-on-one? Like, I'm not sure where to...
Well, that's the best way to get them nice and trapped so that you can trick them into agreeing with you. Can't have any of those pesky other friends interjecting with things like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense, or if God is so moral, why is half the shit in the Bible considered immoral today? And countless other questions you won't have answers to. At least with only one person, the only one doing the interrupting will be you whenever they try to speak, so that you know that you've won.
Start.
Okay, those are all great questions. First of all, I tip my hat to you. You have a bunch of atheist friends.
He's so impressed with your ability to have any friends whatsoever. It's not actually about them being atheblabs. 100% it's because he's stuck in that little box there, unable to interact with the world unless it's via the medium of call-in. It's a sad, sad excuse for existence, and I for one support it for all the humans. It'll keep them away from me.
You have what do they call it, a target-rich environment there?
Oh, that is not a good look for you, my dude. Just boiling down these people to targets, and not even for something as noble as archery practice, but harmful like sophistry. Because, you know, it'll injure their brains with the stupid. And yes, I do mean more than an arrow to the fucking head.
And so that's great. And I hope that the way that you're comporting yourself and living your life
is as far away from biblical values as possible, because damn, I think I would rather have someone have no values at all than to spout some of the messed up shit that comes out of that fucking book. Or doesn't even come out of that book, but gets translated into whatever fucked up thing the reader wants to justify, because none of that shit is going to convince anyone that your arguments are sound, especially any of the quote-unquote moral ones.
And I'm pretty confident of this, is going to be noble and commend Christianity to them, so you're not sending out any negative signals.
Me am crimsbian, therefore all crimsbians are good guys who are good, by default, because they believe the same garbage I do. And, you know, don't send out any negative signals like, I don't know, say, constantly telling them that their lifestyle is inherently immoral and corrupt, and they deserve forever punishment for it, especially when compared to your perfectly saved existence, where you are best friends with the literal ruler of everything. Don't do that. No.
But, and you're also doing a great job in boning up on the information, all the people you mentioned.
Boning up. Also, but. And yeah, great job on reading my opinions and agreeing with them. That is a good thing, according to me, Mr. Arbiter of all truths in the universe. Seriously, it's apt that you use the term boning up, because in almost all cases, bone is usually a negative term in regards to actions. Boneheads or pulling a boner is one I've heard, I think. And of course, just plain boner is an erection. So of course, penis jokes abound.
Are great people to read, and there's a lot more out there. So you're doing a great job. Good for you.
Good for you. You know what? I have to thank Christian Bale for turning good for you into a permanent negative in my head. And in a way, it kind of always had been. Good for you and no one else. I'm not happy about this, and I cannot imagine a situation where anyone but you could benefit from the current state of affairs. So again, good for you.
Let me ask you this. Have you read the Tactics book yet?
No, but I have read Sun Tzu's The Art of War. And you know what? I haven't lost an argument since. You see, you allow them to finish on their side, and then you blow them up with a tank. I'm 3,000 for 0 now. To be fair, I only skimmed the book, and I wasn't really paying attention, but I got the gist of it from the title. And if the fine mist a person turns into when you fire an artillery round right through them isn't art, I don't know what is.
I am reading it right now. I haven't finished yet. I'm currently reading that one, and I don't have enough faith to be an atheist at the same time.
Okay.
Reading 2 books at once. That's the best way to actually absorb the information contained within in a way that won't confuse the shit out of you down the line. Also, God, I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. Now, there's a name I haven't heard in not long enough. The title alone is just the stupidest thing ever, and don't even get me started on the contents of the book. It's infamous for being a series of discussions where effectively Frank and company think that having someone give up and walk away because you're too stupid to understand what they are saying is the same thing as having convinced them you're right. In case you were wondering, it isn't.
Okay, no, dynamite.
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to be suggesting to you is a tactical approach, okay?
Yeah. Fuck being honest and open and simply talking about what you believe and why you think it's true, and perhaps even makes your life better in your opinion. You need to make sure that you SEAL Team 6 that shit. Guns blazing and shoot every motherfucker that moves in the head, argumentatively speaking. Because damn it all, if the truth of Christianity and its factual nature doesn't need all the help it can get, because of how true it is.
And this is always the best way to start any conversation with people who are hostile in terms of their ideology.
Well, there's the root cause of your militant atheist shit. You are coming in believing them to be hostile. Atheism is not by itself a position of hostility. It's fundamentally a position of indifference, if anything. All faiths are exactly as engaging of one's hostility as any other, to one who simply rejects the arguments presented for God. And while there certainly are hostile atheists, I imagine a lot of them are created by the very fact that you come in with the mindset that we hate your or any other religion. And after being berated by some twat for 2 hours, well, that can happen. Also, when you're constantly surrounded by an ideology that says you're a bad person by default for not agreeing with their specific worldview and deserve punishment because of it, well, that's not exactly going to produce nothing but happy, smiling people now, is it?
They may be very nice to you, and as friends, but still their ideas are hostile, okay?
No, they really aren't, and f*** you very much for this kind of reductionist bullshit. See, I'm not mad you believe in God. I don't care what you believe. I don't even care if you want to talk to me about it. The only person hostile in this situation is you, because me disagreeing with you is not hostility, but you taking it as such is hostile, because in your mind, I'm not allowed to, and anything I say that disputes your worldview, no matter how gently or kindly and frankly correctly I say it, is in this way of thinking an attack, and must be defended as such, with similar to the perceived hostility. And then you'll just be sat there wondering again and again why you never seem to make any headway.
And to your ideas, or they are hostile to your ideas, whatever.
Not necessarily. In fact, on an individual level, all atheism literally means is unconvinced of someone's argument that God does the real. Any given atheist could be hostile, and yet another could be extremely open to the idea of believing, while simply finding themselves unconvinced. And yet another could simply be unaware of your arguments whatsoever. Again, the only reason you think they're hostile is because in all likelihood, you are hostile to their ideas, not the other way round.
And that
Right.
There's a tremendous amount of safety in questions.
What? What the fuck does that mean? There's safety in questions? Oh, right, let me guess. When you say something fucked up like, well, that's why all X are going to hell to be tortured forever and they deserve it, ... Don't they? When called out on it, you could just say, well, I'm just asking questions, God.
And this specific challenge, when atheists say that Christians are stupid or it's irrational, this is one that I've faced before.
Well, obviously, because you go in ready and raring to get into a fight with the militant atheists, who are somehow nice to you. You see how something isn't squaring up around here, and yet you apparently run into it all the time. And of course, I'm sure you are so offended when they call your belief silly at some point after suggesting that they hate God, or that they only choose to be atheist because they want to sin, or a million other intellectually bullshit approaches to trying to convince someone you're right. I wonder what the common factor is. It's probably because of how wicked the non-believers all are.
And there's a very simple question to ask at this point.
What the fuck am I doing here? These people have shown a clear disinterest in my hobby of believing stupid things for stupid reasons. Perhaps I should talk about something, maybe anything else, rather than getting into another long argument about why they're going to hell and how I apparently don't even understand the basics of this conversation I'm having. Nah, what's the point of that? I'm the moral arbiter of these people, and I literally won't shut the fuck up until they either agree with me or lock me out of the house in my underwear. Again.
And maybe you have asked it and they've responded. I'd like to hear what they had to say.
What, so you can ignore what they actually said and then argue a point that has nothing to do with it? Or just talk around what they said and never actually address it, giving the appearance of engaging with their point without ever actually doing so? Yeah, no thanks. I have enough of that shit already listening to myself talk. Thank you very much.
But lots of people who are atheists think that the atheists are the smart guys.
You know what? I want to put this to bed. Are there atheists who think they are smarter than everyone else? Yes, obviously. Do they represent atheism as a whole? No. A, because no one does, and B, because it's a large group of people with diverse opinions, many of whom understand that they don't actually know everything, that they have flawed perceptions of things, and part of the reason they became or remain atheist is because they need evidence for things they believe, because their conclusions based on experience etc is probably wrong, because they have big dumb brains that can't help f***ing everything up. In my experience, it's the theist who is so arrogant that they believe their perception of reality overrules actual reality. If that's not considering yourselves the smart guys is, I don't know what is.
In fact, one famous atheist, Daniel Dennett, refers to atheists as the brights. You know, like the brights, the smart people, right? It's kind of self-serving, it seems to me. And the religious people are the dim bulbs, you know, kind of thing. All right.
Well, considering I have literally never heard the name until you just mentioned it, they are clearly catching on. And sure, that name's a tad pretentious maybe, but after looking at their media, it seems to me it's more about aping religious euphemisms, like being in the light, so to speak, not that they are bright in the intelligence sense. I could be wrong, but honestly, after all this, I seriously doubt you even know how to characterize an atheist position properly. Anyway, let's get to that question that you've been hyping up so much.
Fine. Tell me, this is the question I would ask, what is dumb or irrational about Christianity?
Everything. Waka waka. I'll see you next time.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos. And she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the